Keenan Evans was injured again yesterday. At age 29, he returned to the court to play against his former team, Žalgiris, and was injured after just 2 minutes in the EuroLeague. And now, after tearing his right Achilles in January 2023 and in May 2024 tearing his patellar tendon, it's possible that this time he won't be able to come back. So what caused Keenan to suffer two of the worst injuries you can get in basketball? And is this really the end for him? Or will it be yet another amazing comeback story? Let's find out. But first, what has he been through so far? As mentioned, on January 5th, 2023, while still playing for Žalgiris, he tore his right Achilles tendon. He immediately underwent surgery to repair the tendon and made a relatively quick return to the court, after just 8 months, in September 2023. Later, in May 2024, still with Žalgiris, he tore his patellar tendon and again underwent prompt surgery, this time facing a 1.5 years of rehabilitation. If you want more information about a patellar tendon tear, you can find it here, and in general, my YouTube channel already has over 1,100 explanatory videos, so it would really help me if you subscribe there. Let's continue. During his rehabilitation in the summer of 2024, he signed with Olympiacos, where he experienced another minor setback due to a cartilage injury in his kneecap. But as mentioned, he moved on from that as well. And that brings us to yesterday, November 12th, 2025. After 580 days away from EuroLeague games, just 2 minutes in, he was injured and tore his left Achilles tendon. By the way, for 3 reasons I immediately said it was an Achilles tendon tear. First, because of that backward leg movement, that kind of step back, which is very typical of an Achilles tear. Second, because of the way he looked back. And third, because he reached for his calf, he tried to grab his calf. But even here, if you want to know more about Achilles tears, check this out. In any case, he will probably undergo surgery as early as today, and the expected recovery time is usually between 8 to 12 months. But for players like Keenan, with a long injury history, it usually takes up to 1.5 years, and most likely he won't return to his previous level. But what's most interesting, Tipo, is how this happened. I haven't found any other athlete ever who tore their Achilles twice and also tore their patellar tendon. So let's understand 3 reasons why I think this happened. The first reason is biomechanical changes after an injury. Athletes, and honestly all of us, tend to make all kinds of adjustments. What does that mean? For example, walking a bit differently, meaning we shift weight from the injured leg to the healthy one, which actually puts more strain on the healthy leg. And in sports where you run, jump and change direction, these changes can definitely lead to injury. Now, many times, even after the area has healed and is as strong as the other leg, we still have these changes, mainly out of habit and fear. The second reason is weakness after an injury or lack of readiness in rehabilitation. No matter how good the rehab is, it's hard to simulate the intensity of a real game. The real loads happen when the body has to perform under the true pressure of a match, with opponents, adrenaline, and the stress of having to function. Performing in these situations, when there is real strain on the tendon, that's when it's exposed to injury, because it hasn't been through these loads or anything close to them for a very long time. Considering that he's been dealing with injuries for about 3 years now, it's easy to understand how something like this can happen. The third and final factor, which interests me the most, is genetics. When a player suffers 3 such significant tendon injuries, it suddenly raises the question of systemic changes, meaning some kind of genetic mutation that causes his tendons to be weaker. We know from research that there are proteins with certain genetic variants that weaken collagen fibers, which make up ligaments and tendons. And it's very possible that Evans has some kind of genetic change like this. By the way, the day is not far off when we'll do such genetic tests and also MRIs to identify potential structures in players who are more injury prone. In my estimation, this will happen within the next 10 years. In short, Evans is only 29, and honestly, there's no physiological reason he can't return to playing basketball, probably not at the level he was before. Honestly, after 2 such significant injuries, his comeback will depend on how much patience and willpower he has to start from scratch for the 3rd time. In any case, it won't be less than a year, and I estimate it'll be closer to 1.5 years.